let's unpack this. You're picturing yourself surrounded by the majestic Dolomites in Italy, those breathtaking peaks that seem to touch the sky.
Right.
You want to know exactly what makes this region so special, maybe how to navigate the local vibe, the easiest ways to get from A to B, what to watch out for, and, well, a realistic sense of the investment involved.
Yeah, the cost.
We've gathered a wealth of insights to create this focused exploration just for you.
And what's fascinating right off the bat is, well, while we don't have a neat little list called Top 15 Must-Sees in the Dolomites, the material we looked at makes it really clear why this whole area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's about the landscape itself.
So dramatic peaks, sheer cliffs.
Exactly, dropping away into these deep, long valleys. It's, an extraordinary and really diverse landscape.
Right. The information highlights these dramatic, vertical, and pale-colored peaks in distinctive sculptural forms. It says they're unique globally. So, okay, no specific countdown, but the mission here for this deep dive is really to equip you with the understanding to kind of craft your own top experiences there.
Precisely. It's about appreciating the essence of the Dolomites, the whole feel of the place.
Yeah.
And, if we look a bit deeper, the region's appeal isn't just superficial. It's got significant geological importance, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, showcasing this remarkable range of limestone formations and, interestingly, evidence of how marine life recovered way back in the Triassic period.
Wow, okay. So these mountains hold clues to ancient oceans.
Kind of amazing, isn't it? A reminder of Earth's long history just towering above you.
Definitely. Now, thinking about actually being there in Italy, and specifically the Dolomites, there are some general Italian customs to keep in mind that our info touches on.
Right.
One thing that stands out is this real warmth, a generosity towards guests, especially, it seems, around food.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge part of Italian culture, a very welcoming aspect for travelers.
Oh, it's good to know.
It really is. We also see mentions of, regional superstitions. Now, the Trevi Fountain coin toss, that's Rome, obviously.
Right, not the Dolomites.
Not specifically, no, but it shows that wider cultural thing for tradition and local stories,
Interesting. And football fans. The tifosi.
Yeah.
Intense passion is mentioned.
Oh, yeah. It can be quite an atmosphere if you catch a game, a real cultural immersion.
Sounds like it.
And there's a little snippet about Roman culture, too, their affection for cats, even giving them legal protections.
Biocultural heritage, it says.
Yeah. Again, not Dolomite specific, but it paints a picture of sort of Italian appreciation for heritage, nature, culture.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears to practical stuff. Getting around.
Crucial.
If your trip involves trains in Italy, maybe getting to the Dolomites, or day trips, validating tickets is vital.
Absolutely key. Those little machines on the platform, use them. Avoids hefty fines.
Right. But it does note if you buy tickets online or on an app, you usually don't need to do that manual validation.
Good point. That's becoming more common. Always double check, but yeah, often not needed for digital tickets.
Okay. And thinking about other stops maybe on your route, religious sites. Modest dress is usually required.
Yes, definitely. Covering shoulders and knees. Think St. Mark's in Venice, St. Peter's in the Vatican. It's a sign of respect.
Makes sense. And a specific tip for Florence, if you're planning to climb the Duomo's cupola,
Yes.
you need to book a specific time slot with your ticket. Can't just show up, apparently.
Right. Planning ahead. That seems to be a recurring theme, doesn't it?
It does.
Absolutely. Now, just navigating Italy generally, trains often come up as super user-friendly, efficient, especially if it's your first time.
Yeah, a lot of suggested itineraries seem to rely heavily on them. Trains, buses, ferries, sometimes totally car-free.
Exactly. High-speed trains connect the big cities, Rome, Florence, Venice, etc., really well.
And regional trains for shorter hops, day trips.
Perfect for that. But driving in Italy, the info mentions it can be, challenging. Parking issues, gas costs, the driving style.
Yeah, I've heard stories.
Right. So renting a car is suggested more for, remote areas or regions not easily served by public transport.
Which brings us back to the Dolomites themselves. The material suggests a car rental would be helpful there.
Yes. Helpful is the word used. It implies public transport exists, but maybe isn't comprehensive. A car gives you that flexibility.
To get to different valleys, viewpoints.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty essential for really exploring that landscape.
It does seem that way. The region's described as having a high density of narrow, deep, and long valleys. A car lets you properly explore those scenic drives, find hidden spots.
Okay. So maybe mix. Trains between cities, then consider a car for the Dolomites portion.
That sounds like a very sensible approach, yeah. Best of both worlds, perhaps.
Good to know. And just a couple more quick transport notes. Venice. Be ready for canals to get to your hotel. Part of the experience.
Definitely part of the Venice charm. And Pisa taxis are right outside the station for the Leaning Tower. Or buses work, too. Check Google Maps when you arrive.
Okay, now, maybe even more important, what to avoid. Pitfalls.
Yes, the heads-up section. We've already hammered the train ticket validation. Don't skip that.
Right. And the dress codes for churches.
Yeah.
Ignore them, you won't get in. Simple as that.
Exactly. Then Venice comes up again with a few warnings. Crowds, especially Piazza San Marco, Rialto Bridge. Expect them.
And potential flooding, if it rains heavily.
Yeah, Acqua Alta. It happens. Check forecasts. And mosquitoes in summer. Pack repellent.
Good tip. What about Cinque Terre? Those famous hiking trails.
Ah, right. They can be prone to landslides. So always check for trail closures updates before you head out. It's a safety thing.
And you need a ticket for the paid trails, right?
That's right. It's often part of a park pass or train card.
And one more big don't. The Sistine Chapel.
Oh, yeah. Big no-no on photos or videos inside. Just be respectful, soak it in. Don't try to sneak pictures.
Got it. And finally, maybe not a strict avoid, but something to be aware of. Gondola rides in Venice.
Iconic, yes, but expensive. We're talking 80 euros in the daytime, maybe 100 around sunset or later.
Wow. Okay. So factor that in if it's a must-do for you, but know the cost up front.
Exactly. Manage expectations.
All right, let's talk money. Real costs. Daily living, that kind of thing.
Okay. The material gives some background, like the average Italian income is around $26,700 a year.
With a big difference between the wealthier north and the south,
Yeah.
it notes.
Right. North around $40, much less in the south. Just gives you some, economic context.
Okay. And for travel costs specifically, train travel.
Hugely variable. Depends on the train type, regional, intercity, the fast Frecciarossa, and crucially, how far ahead you book.
Like that Rome to Naples example, 13 up to 57.
Exactly. Booking early almost always saves you money, sometimes significantly.
And accommodation. Also big range, I assume.
Massive range. Hostels are your budget baseline. Then budget hotels, mid-range, depends on location, season, the usual factors.
Websites like Hostel World, Booking.com are recommended for searching.
Yep, standard tools for finding places.
Food costs.
Depends how you eat. Quick bites, pizza slices, panini, maybe under 30 euro a day if you're careful. Sit-down meals in restaurants will obviously cost more.
Naturally. And attraction entrance fees add up too.
They do. Pompeii around 18, Pisa Tower climb 20 Uomo, Milan Duomo roof 14 to 25, seeing David in Florence 16 plus booking fees.
Sometimes combo tickets can save a bit.
Sometimes, yeah. Worth looking into if you plan on hitting multiple spots in one city.
Okay. And we have the fixed gondola prices, 80 to 100 euro?
Yep. And that Cinque Terre train card, including trail access, was around 44 to 69 euro for 2 days, depending on the season, I think.
Now, it's important we stress this. The info doesn't give specific daily budgets for the Dolomites region itself.
That's a key point. We have general Italian costs, which are a good starting point.
But you should probably expect costs in those mountain areas. Being more rural but also tourist-focused might be a bit higher, especially accommodation, maybe food.
That would be a reasonable assumption, yes.
Yeah.
Compared to maybe some less touristy parts of larger cities, plan for potentially higher costs there.
So, no magic daily number for the Dolomites, but use the Italian averages as a base and maybe buffer it up a bit.
Exactly. Do your research on specific towns you plan to visit within the Dolomites for accommodation prices. That'll give you the best picture.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, let's get into the really fun stuff. Specific advice. What to actually do, where to go in the Dolomites, and what to eat.
Yes. And as we mentioned, no top 15 list as such.
Right.
The focus really needs to be on experiencing that incredible UNESCO landscape, immersing yourself in it.
So how do you do that? Hiking seems obvious.
Absolutely. Hiking is huge there. Tons of trails, all levels, from gentle valley walks to serious climbs. The views are the payoff.
So you need to research trails that match your fitness and what kind of scenery you want.
Definitely. Plenty of resources online for that. Then scenic drives.
Ah, yes, with those narrow, deep, and long valleys. Sounds perfect for driving.
Exactly. Winding roads, pulling over at viewpoints, just soaking in the panoramas.
Yeah.
If you have a car, that's a major activity.
What about the towns and villages?
Definitely visit them. Charming mountain villages nestled in the valleys. Great for seeing local culture, traditional architecture, maybe finding local crafts.
And cable cars.
Oh,
for
cool.
easier access to views.
Yeah, a great option. Get high up quickly for those breathtaking vistas without the huge hiking effort. Good if you're short on time or want a different perspective.
And photography. Sounds like a dream location.
Oh, absolutely. Those vertical walls, sheer cliffs. It's incredibly photogenic. A paradise for photographers.
Okay, so where specifically to go within the Dolomites? The UNESCO site has 9 areas, it says.
That's right. 9 distinct areas, each offering, a diversity of spectacular landscapes.
So exploring different parts means different experiences.
Precisely. The info doesn't detail them, but researching areas like, say, the Sesto Dolomites or Val Gardena or around Cortina d'Ampezzo. That would be your next step.
Figure out which valleys or mountain groups appeal most based on photos, trail descriptions, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Tailor it to your interests. Some areas might be better known for dramatic peaks, others for gentler alpine meadows, perhaps.
Makes sense. And finally, the food. What deliciousness awaits.
Okay, so again, no super specific list from this material on Dolomite cuisine, but we can make some educated guesses.
Location, location, location. Northern Italian Alps.
Bingo! So you're gonna get that amazing blend of Italian and Austrian influences. It's a really interesting culinary crossroads.
So think hearty stuff.
Yeah, probably. Hearty pasta dishes, definitely. Polenta creamy cornmeal, a staple.
Yeah.
Dumplings, like kenandurli, which are bread dumplings.
Oh, right. Speck. That's smoked ham.
Speck is huge in that region, yes. Delicious. And lots of local cheeses, alpine cheeses, very flavorful.
So doing a bit more digging into Trentino Alto Adige or Südtirol cuisine would be worthwhile.
Absolutely. Find out the local specialties of the specific valley you're visiting. And, of course, it's Italy.
It's a lot to.
You have to. The info even mentions it's often made with more milk, less cream, so the flavor can be more intense. Healthier, too, maybe-ish?
We can tell ourselves that. And tiramisu, the classic pick-me-up.
Can't go wrong with a good tiramisu. A perfect end to a meal after a day in the mountains.
Okay, so let's try and recap this. Your Dolomite adventure. It's waiting amidst these just stunning landscapes, a mix of Italian and alpine culture.
Right. Remember to factor in travel times. Validate those train tickets if needed. Be ready for variable costs, especially in the mountains themselves.
And while there wasn't a specific top 15 checklist of spots,
the whole region is basically a must-see. That UNESCO status tells you something. It's packed with natural beauty and cultural experiences.
Yeah, we really hope this deep dive has given you a solid practical foundation for planning your own trip.
Definitely. So thinking about it now, what aspect of visiting the Dolomites really stands out to you as the most exciting?
Yeah, what are you most looking forward to? And, are there any lingering questions about customs or getting around once you're actually there?
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. These mountains, the Dolomites, they've inspired people for centuries. Just sheer monumental beauty.
So what personal aha moments, what discoveries will you find among those peaks?
Maybe the real must-see list isn't one we can give you, but the one you create yourself through your own exploration and just wonder.